welcome to Cooking with Abba. So we're going to do another local drink, which is just, beyond the world. And this is very lucrative for business as well. And yes, this is the millet drink, what we also call your Zonkom. Yes, you may call it Zonkom. It's a millet drink made in Ghana. Very spicy, very tasty, very milky as well. And like I said, this is a good business to go into if you want to make some extra cash as well. This, you can't go wrong with it. So this is my millet. You can check the description, the quantities in the description button. I pour it in, and yes, they have different types of millet. Any millet you want to use is up to you, whether you want to use a red one or the ash one or the pale ones. Any millet you want to use, you're okay with, you can go with it. So usually I would take off the chaff, wash the chaff off. So as you're washing, the chaff and then the not so good ones would come on top. Then I throw that away, I rinse my sieve, and then I continue with the washing. It's good to wash it in your sieve as well, because sometimes there's sand in there. So when you wash it in the sieve, the sand is able to drain off. And then I let it sit, yes. So when I don't have time, I can let it sit overnight in the fridge, or sometimes I let it sit on the counter for about an hour or 30 minutes something. The main idea about letting it sit is that you want it to soften so you can easily blend and make the most out of it. If you do it fresh, you can do it fresh, but it becomes hard to blend and you kind of worry your blender. So for me, I let it sit for a while, and then when I'm done, I just rinse it once again to get rid of the water that was around it, and then I'm good for the blending. So for this, you need some spice as well. You can see the spices in the description button, but basically it is your Negro Pepper or your rentia, some cloves or preguamba, and I add a bit of star anise to my black pepper as well. And you've got ginger to get it that gingery taste as well. Sometimes people overshadow the ginger. They will do so much ginger. Now me let the cry want to be, please. It shouldn't be like that. And then you go in with your drinking water as well, and then you give it a blend. So one thing you don't want to do is to do what I just did, which is to use so much water. If you use so much water, you're not able to really get a very fine blend in there. So I realized I wasn't going to get my fine blend, so I had to pour a bit of the water from it. Fortunately, the ginger part was on top, and so that was what came up on top. And then I placed it back in and then finished up the blend. So like I said, make sure you don't use excess water, else when you blend, you won't get that smoothness in. I'm going to blend this till it is very smooth. Then I run it through the sieve. Yes, I'm going to run this through the sieve, and I'm going to wash the inside of the blender because I don't want anything to go waste. So I'm going to be running water through this, and I'm going to be pressing it to make sure that all the juice in there, all the nutrients in there is out, except for the fiber. Yes, millet is good for the fiber. Millet has a lot of fiber. For our drink, we need it to be as smooth as possible. So usually I do the double sieving as well. So you want it to get as smooth as possible. Double sieving kind of works for you. So I'm running the same water over it because I don't want it to be also too runny. Sometimes people do Zonkom and I used to use Kwa. You don't want it like that. So I'm just running it through the sieve again for me to get that taste in there. I don't want it to be too runny in there. So I'm going to make sure that I'm getting it out, and with my spoon I'm just going to be pressing it to get the water out. Shake it a little bit, press. You just want to make sure that at the end of the day all that juiciness in there is coming out. And for me, one thing I also do is to use hot water midway. So once I do the first run, the second part going, I use hot water to do it. It's not going to cook it up, don't be worried. And mind you, you're just going to be mixing it as well and still be taking out the juice. The hot water is there to kind of pasteurize, let me put it like that, in there, so it doesn't make your Zonkom go bad early. It makes it last for long, because don't forget that this is fresh ginger in. Ginger after a while can start fermenting. Don't forget that the millet after a while can start fermenting. And so if you want it to last long, if you want it to be friendly on people's stomach, it is better you inculcate a little bit of hot water in, just to pasteurize it, because we don't want to cook it on fire as well. So as running it, the water through the sieves, I'm going to be making sure that the hot water is what I'm going to use after the first one. And like I said, I like to do the double sieving when I start it up. Now subsequently, I'll still run the sieved one in, because like I said, it's a drink, and as a drink it has to be as smooth as possible. Some may use a cheesecloth or whatever you want to use, but the most important thing is that it should be as smooth as possible. And so I'm just going to be using, I'm going to rinse my mixing bowl in there. If you like my mixing bowl, you can check in the description button for the contact of Nahe's training. She's great when it comes to these stuff. If you want to order your air fryers, your mixing bowls and all of that, you can order it from her. The prices are good, the service is good, and most importantly, you're not going to get what I ordered versus what I got. So yes, I'm going to sieve this out, and once it's smooth enough for me, what I'm going to do is to inculcate some good milk. You can use non-dairy milk, you can also use evaporated milk. Those are the best ones that goes in there. Then you add in any sweetener of your choice. So I used honey in here, and I was using the sieve because sometimes the honey, the local one, the wasp, sometimes some of them run into it. So I just had to be very sure that there's nothing going in and as smooth as possible. So use any sweetener of your choice. Obviously, if you're doing it for commercial purposes, you may use sugar, because honey can be a bit costly unless your clientele base can afford with that price of honey. So yes, I'm going to mix it in, and mind you, garbage in, garbage out. If you use good quality evaporated milk, you get that creaminess in there. If you use good quality non-dairy milk, if you don't take dairy, you're going to get that creaminess in there. Don't go and use any bojo bojo milk in there. So once I'm done, I just bottle it up. So these bottles are for sale. You can get some, and when you close it, you realize that it locks up, so that gives security to whoever is buying, because once it's open, you're going to see it. So this is one good business to go in, because with 1 cup of millet you can get so much. 2 cups, extra much. And for me, I don't spend when I'm done. Oh, I like the base part most especially. So yes, do give this recipe a try, and do give me a taste on it. If you've tried Zonkom before, what did you like most about it? What did you like most about it? And when you try this at home, you give me the vibe, that thing. So another day, I really want you to try this. I'd really like you to give it a try. And if you have any questions or anything about it, you can let me know in the comment section as well. Till I see you in the next food video, do live life to the fullest, be joyous, be merry. Lots of love from my team and I. Mwah.